Hello, everybody. I just wanted to show you where you can find the information for this week's discussion. This week's discussion is all about the information that's available online from different sources and you being able to take that information and make a good decision using those sources. And so we're going to look at two different sources of information online. One is an official source of information. The other is a crowdsourced source of information. And between these two, I want you to compare a little bit between them, but you don't have to choose one or the other. You don't have to say, well, I think this one's better, so I'm going to use this one. The idea is that they give you different types of information. They give you a different picture, a different angle on the same thing. And so then with that more complete package, you actually probably want to use both. You're just going to get some information you can trust from one site and some information you can trust from another site. And so with those two things combined, hopefully you're going to make a good decision. Now, the decision we're going to look at is picking a class for next semester. So probably everybody's going to do it. It's going to happen here soon. You're going to have to make a decision. You're going to be looking at, oh, should I take this class from this professor or this professor? Should I take anthropology or should I take this extra history class that both sort of meet the same requirement? And so I can choose between the two. Which of the foreign languages should I take? Those sorts of decisions, students make them every semester. And so there are some good sources of information out there. We're going to look at them, compare and contrast. And so your discussion this week is really going to be, what did you learn? What did you learn from the official source of information? What did you learn from the crowdsourced source of information? How would you find these sites to be helpful in you making a decision as to what class you should register for next semester? Now, I'm going to assume that for my demo purposes, you are considering whether or not to take CIT 15 with me next semester. All right, and that's just because I don't want to put other people's information out there. I think that would be kind of in poor taste. But regardless, that's sort of the question that we're going to have in your head during this demo. So now this is the first site we're going to look at. It is an official source of information. This is the institutional research website for the State Center Community College District, of which Fresno City College is a part of. And you can find it here at ir.sccd.edu. It is a completely public website. You can get to this website by clicking through the different menus on the front page of fresnocitycollege.edu. But you'd have to click through a bunch of menus. We don't exactly advertise it. And that's because most people really don't care about this sort of information, even though it's fairly helpful. And in fact, you'll find some great resources. There's a link here to the Student Success Scorecard. This is a website that's actually created by the state of California for all California community colleges that actually rates the effectiveness of those California community colleges. Now, you're already at Fresno City College, so we're just going to ignore that. But those sorts of things exist. There's lots of information out there if you're willing to look where you can get good information to make good decisions. Instead, we're looking for a specific class. We're asking, would you want to take CIT 15 with me next semester? So there's this little link up here. It seems kind of innocuous. You probably wouldn't even know what it was for. It says Instructional Program Review. Every department, every few years, goes through a process where we review our programs, and that involves looking at a lot of data. And so this is a great source to find that data. And so I'm going to click on it, and you see we can select a campus. So I'm going to choose Fresno City College. I'm going to hit Next, and then select a division. So here you have to because you're probably for your discussion actually going to look at a different class, right? You're not going to choose CIT 15. You're already enrolled in CIT 15 or CIT 12, which are somewhat equivalents. So you don't need this class. But you might be looking at, should I take physics or should I take astronomy? Both of those would be in the division of Math, Science, and Engineering, or MSE. Should I take a speech class or should I take a something else class? Should I be taking, what foreign language should I take? Well, all foreign languages are in the humanities along with English. Speech, by the way, is fine in performing and communication arts. I actually don't know what the C stands for in that division. But regardless, once you find the division, that can help you to find the place you're looking for. Health services or health sciences, sorry, not services, is where you'd find your nursing programs, phlebotomy, things like that. We are going to look at business because that's the division I'm in, and hit next. And then department, here's accounting, here's business administration, business and technology, decision sciences, all sorts of different departments that you can look at for different courses. This is actually probably easier because the course you're looking for, it's the letters in front of the thing. So if we're looking for CIT 15, we want to choose CIT, Computer Information Technology, and I'm going to hit display. Now this is going to show you a whole bunch of information you probably don't care about. It is averaged for all students taking all CIT classes on campus. And so we can see ethnicity breakdowns, age breakdowns, gender breakdowns, whether those students are full-time or part-time, a bunch of information to sort of see who's taking these courses, as well as total enrollment. We have, well, just shy of 2,000 students. In fact, years past, we were over 2,000 students. And so there's a definite, there's some interesting information here, but it's probably not going to help you to make a decision about next semester. And so instead, we're going to click this little button here at the bottom that says Grade Data for FCC Business CIT. Now, grade data is kind of nice. It pulls up some information based on term, but this is an average of all CIT courses. It gives you the GPA, which is the average grade given for all CIT courses, retention, so the number of students who actually stuck with the class the entire semester for all CIT courses, and successful completion. This is the percentage of students who received a grade of C or better for all CIT courses. But all CIT courses doesn't really help us. And so we can actually sort of go in here and pick out any semester we want, like perhaps last spring. And then this will actually give you the breakdown per class. So, you know, we've got some pretty difficult programming classes in our program. But here's CIT 15. Now, CIT 15, GPA is 2.18. It's actually just slightly above a C. That is passing, but, you know, you can sort of compare that. Is this going to be a hard class? Is this going to be an easier class? This is just information. So I'm not saying whether something is good or bad. I'm just saying this is what is. Retention, 86.7% of people stick with the class all the way to the end. That's good. Successful completion rate, just a hair shy of 60%. So 6 out of every 10 will score a C or higher. And that kind of makes sense. If you're taking the class right now, you probably know that after a few weeks, well, there's a number of people who stop showing up. And so, you know, successful completion rates, as you compare them, it's somewhat hard to compare apples and oranges, but it at least gives you a sense, right? Now, here's the thing. This official source of information gives you some good information, and it would be a great way of comparing, let's say, physics to astronomy, two classes that both meet the same requirement, but are completely different classes. But it doesn't actually tell you if you do decide, okay, I do want to take CIT 15. I need it for my program or for whatever reason, I want to take CIT 15. And so then we can sort of look at that, but we can't figure out what instructor you should take. There is no instructor information. That's something that the district does not make public, right? And for various reasons. And so while you can compare courses to one another, foreign language courses, for instance, you can't really compare instructors to one another. And so you may be stuck with saying, okay, I know I want to take this class, but I don't know who I want to take it with. So that's the limitation of the official site. And that's kind of where crowdsourcing steps in to fill in the gap. So here's something, a site that many, many students know about called ratemyprofessors.com. Some people love this site, some people hate this site, on both sides, students and instructors, but it exists, and so we'll talk about it. Rate My Professors essentially is crowdsourced information. So the information does not come from an official source, it comes from essentially all of the students that are actually taking these courses and using the site. So what we're going to do is find a school, school's name, Fresno City, and you can see it's already popped up, so I'm going to go ahead and just select it. And this will have information from users, from students, about a ton of different instructors. And so, you can kind of try and find it. I'm just going to go to enter your professor's name and pull up mine because I don't want to look at anybody else's grades. And so here we are, Brian Baker. If you select it, it says that I have a 4.8 overall quality. So that's just how people ranked me. The average grade for people who did do the rankings. So these are the average grade that people received in the class for the people who rated me, received an A. And then the little chili pepper you can just ignore for this point. And then down here, you can actually see student ratings where they kind of rate specifically for helpfulness, clarity, easiness, and they have some sort of a comment, which I'm not going to bother to read that comment. Again, I'm only choosing myself because I don't want to choose somebody else. Now, here's the thing. Crowdsourced information is great. It gives you information you couldn't have got from the original source. But can you trust it? And here's the thing. If you look at my rating, I have 7 ratings. The average grade for the people who gave those ratings was an A. Now, I'll just tell you, sort of truthfully, I don't give everybody an A. There's a lot of people who did not receive an A who clearly never rated me. And so with only 7 ratings, it's really hard to tell if this information is true. This is probably making me look better than I actually am. And so I would say that no, you shouldn't trust this. That's not necessarily a good reflection. Even though it's a positive reflection, it's not necessarily a good reflection of me. And that's something that's always true with crowdsourced information. If you're looking at Yelp and trying to decide, is this shawarma place going to be really good? Is it going to be, a great place to get a euro? Chances are, look at the number of ratings. If there's only 3 ratings, well, that just means that the person who owns the place has 3 relatives. It doesn't necessarily tell you if the place is good. If the place has hundreds of ratings and they all say it's good, then chances are it's pretty good. Whenever you're looking at crowdsourced information, the larger the crowd, the better the information. And so there will be a lot of people you will find who have great ratings. Now, I'm going to choose a colleague of mine, and I'm only going to choose her because I know she has an amazing rating. This is Rhea Waller, who also teaches in our department. She has a 4.8 rating, but she has 134 ratings, right? There's a really good chance that Rio actually is a good teacher. Now, I happen to think I'm a good teacher, but with 7 ratings, you can't be sure of that. You shouldn't trust that information. But you could trust this information because there's more ratings. Chances are, if that many people are saying that something's good, it's probably good. But it's always good to think of when you're thinking of crowdsourced information, how could the system be gamed? Is Rio putting in ratings for herself? I doubt it, but that could be the case. See also the shawarma place. Are they just getting their friends to put in ratings to sort of jack up their score? But even that gets harder to do once there's a large number of ratings. And so the more ratings, the better off you are. All right, so that's what I want you to do for this week's assignment. Look at a decision you're going to have to make next semester. Again, maybe it's choosing between physics and astronomy. Maybe it's choosing which of the foreign languages you want to learn. Maybe it's deciding, should I take anthropology or should I take this British history class? And compare them using the institutional research website, where you can actually pull up those individual courses, and then also take a look at the people who teach them on Rate My Professors, and try to get a better picture from both official sources of information and crowdsourced information about your decision. All right, so that's it for this week. That's a discussion. Tell us what you learned, and you can be specific. That's all right. You can say whatever you want about various instructors, but I will not say it. So feel free to put that into the discussion boards and help one another kind of learn about the decisions you're making. All right. That's it. I hope you've had a great week, and I will see you online.